Hey y'all, we are back with Chilling with MsFriezy, and today I'm doing something that is what we all do, and that's cleaning house and get the bonita thing out the way so we can focus. See me? See me? Okay now. So I'm here without the kids, thankfully. I'm home. One of my homes. I'm in Brooklyn for the moment. I also live in Jersey. I go back and forth because that's my life right now. And it is what it is. I wanted to come on here and talk about, so today is going to be like my opinion on Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. I haven't read it yet. I have a copy of it, but from what I am getting from the current reviews that, the public is giving in regard to what the book is doing for them. And one thing that I wanted to address is the thought of feeling like, oh, I have to reach a certain place before I can let people know what's happening with me. Although I get why some people do it. And, everyone is giving her praises. And trust me, I love Michelle. It's not that I don't. But I just feel like, personally, how many women could have benefited from that information? Like, years ago. Let's get this focused. Here we go. How many women could have benefited from that information when she was on the platform? And, I understand, everyone has their process and what they go through. And, you have to come into your own comfort zone with what you share with the world. Because once it's out there, it's out there. Let you know. And put it in there if you're not ready for whatever comes with it. So, my take and my opinion is that, people that share and what the society would say maybe is oversharing or too comfortable to share all that is going on with them is because they're comfortable. Everyone gets comfortable at a different time. They move into a different place and space in their life where, quite frankly, I'm going to say they give zero fucks about what people think or feel. And they're like, well, this is my experience and it is what it is. This is how I made it through. This is how I endured and how I dealt with it. And, other times you will find some people sharing it right away because their comfort level is different in what they're experiencing. They may already have the full understanding that this is not the end all. And though I may be going through this now, this won't be my life. And so, you'll have, but even if she's sharing and whatever she's sharing, trust and believe there's a whole lot more she may not be sharing. And for you as a person reading her book, it's like, wow, she goes through what I may go through at times. And it's like, yeah, it's a person. And that brings me to my other point that I always make, and that's that celebrity factor of life, where people want to put a title on people, a prestige, and we oftentimes forget about those warriors that we have right next to us. We forget about those people who make it look as if there is nothing going on with them. They're strong. They're okay. They can take care of themselves. Until they can't. Until they pass away of pneumonia. And everyone is like, wow, I was just with her. She didn't seem like she had anything going on. Well, if she told you she was sick, how would that make her look? If she told you how she really felt, she would lose some of her prestige, some of her mystique, some of her power. And a lot of times people go through things silently because they know that their image will be somehow shattered. And time again, you know, people come on and they share their stories, and then it's like they get a different response. They get a response of, boobs are upside. Yeah, they are. One is bigger than the other. It's always been. But they lose their prestige. They lose that. See, right now, she's no longer the first lady. So what she shares with the world now does not have an impact on how her husband's career or presidency will go. And so that, in my opinion, that plays a part in her being able to share now with the world what she could have shared with us 10 years ago. You know, and it goes to what I always feel when people talk about social media and sharing, and not even just social media, just even in our own circles, even within our own friends, our own family. It's now coming to light with Taraji's mission of mental health. So now the Black community is waking up. But how long have we been suffering with mental health? We all know, forever. How long will we suffer with mental health? Forever. If we do not look in our own communities and see the same things that we see in our celebrities. Because our celebrities have their community of people that, trust me, know their process, that they share with. Everyone has their little circle and their little nook that they share with. Right now I live in a gentrified community, and I'm going to be honest. I've never felt more connected to my community than I do now. And that's probably because I'm raising kids in my community where I was born and raised. So it gives me a different perspective because I grew up in this community, and there are a lot of people, there are a lot of amazing people that came out of this community that still are here in this community. And you know, I would love to see more people come back to take hold of the community and say, you know, or the people who are here to say, like, you know, this is ours. This is what we can build. This is what I go through, and I can help you through. Because I've had experiences that I've shared that people have, you know, in my own circle have contacted me and said, oh, whoa. You know, don't share that. And it's like, why not? Why shouldn't I share it? Because I'm comfortable with sharing it. And this experience may help someone else to come through whatever they may silently be going through. And I admire people who can be so humble and meek and reclusive and just silent. I admire people who can be silent. I can't be silent. I don't know if it's just my nature. I don't know if it's just my sign. Because I am a Leo. Shout out to all my Leos. Hey. But I can't be silent. I have to share. because that's how I work through my processes. That's how I deal and manifest my visions and my dreams and my goals, is I share. My mother used to tell me when I would write, and I have yet to share an actual book. I've written, I've done, nothing major. But I always have an issue with sharing. I had an issue with sharing me. And I had to come into my own and say, you know what? This is me. I may always be late, but I know that I come right on time. Because that's just how my spirit moves. And I'm going to work on my lateness. Work on it. Because, it might be a little more tasteful if I was on time all the time. But I'm not going to be on time all the time. Let's just be for real here. But, I'm getting better at that. But it's like in this book, which I am going to read because I love reading. But just the part, and it was a friend that triggered this, because she said, she appreciates it, but she too shared something personal to her a few years back that inspired me to believe that, look, courage takes a lot of effort. Sharing yourself with the public, even if the public is your own circle, takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of tenacity. And I always tell people, that my timeline inspires me. And people that are on my timeline are people that I've known for years upon years, people that I knew, that I felt I had a connection with, and new people that come onto my timeline. I also too feel like I accept you on my timeline because I have some type of connection, because I don't work on what your name is, what your title is. I work on who you say you are. I work on who I feel brings or adds value to my experience of life. And so I really believe that we can truly help one another in so many great ways. And we do, within the energy pool that you create for yourself. And people will find that they will have one energy pool when they're in a certain place in their life, and then when they start to switch and change, the energy pool changes. And that's why I say, when it comes to my neighborhood, and I say that I've never been felt more connected, is because though I felt connected to people in the past that lived in my neighborhood, or that I may have gone to school with, or, that is a distant family relative or whatever, when they do not see, when you realize that they may not have that same connection with you, it's sometimes it turns into a fight, a scatter, which I've seen in the past. Other times it turns into you just cutting the person off, or not really interacting with that person that much, because you feel how you feel. And in my community, that was my community when I was growing up here, it was like risk taking, and it was certain risks that I just was not willing to take because of fear at that time, because of not really knowing how to connect with my peers at that time, me learning myself and who I am at that time in building my life. I didn't feel a connection, a hard connection with too many people around me. There were particular people that I felt connections with and that I stuck close to. And maybe, you know, some of those people may not have been the greatest people, but they were the best people for me. And in closing out my opinion on Miss Obama's book, Mrs. Obama, the Queen, Goddess in the flesh, is that we all can help one another. And the more we do that, and that is what people who write these books, because what Michelle shared, so many other women have shared time and time again. But what makes it so special is that you felt like you have a connection with Michelle Obama. She's a fellow Black woman. She's a fellow woman. She's a fellow entrepreneur. She's a fellow doer. She's a fellow wife. She's a fellow mother. She's a fellow aunt. She's a fellow daughter. So however you feel that connection works for you, also see how that connection goes within your own circle, in your own community. You know, how do the people that that assist you in giving you the courage in life, what may they be going through that you all can share? Because sometimes we can be right next to, when I shared my my pregnancy woes and my infertility and the thoughts of the doctors telling me that I wouldn't have children. It was scary for me at first to share it, but then it was like, I have my baby. There is hope. I didn't take any drugs or medicine to do this. And though some women may need it, and that's a choice, that's a personal choice, because there are so many options out there for you to fulfill your life and your goals. But what I've seen throughout the years is that women have fertility issues. They go, they adopt, and adoption is fabulous. It's great. Trust me, I wish I had money to take in a whole bunch of babies, because, you know, I go under the moniker of Josephine Baker because I just love the kids. But then they adopt, and then they end up having a child naturally when they're not thinking about it. And so many times over, this has been the case for women in my life. There's many women that, you know, would tell me, oh, I don't think I'm ever going to have it. I'm like, oh no, trust me. I thought so too. I have one tube. This tube is no, not here. My right tube is gone. I have my left tube. And I had 2 babies with my left tube. I had scar tissue from previous surgeries, because that's just how my body reacts to surgery. And I have 2 babies, and I hug my babies, though they get on my nerves because they 4 and 6. They get on my nerves, but I love my babies, and I am so dedicated to my children because man told me I would not, but my spirit knew that I would. And that's how you get through your process. That's how everyone gets through their process. Is going by whatever faith you have. And that process, if you share it or if you don't, when you do share it, you'll realize how many other people have been also going through a process. And, you know, we just have to really, sounds cheesy, we have to unite. We have to understand that people are people, whether they have money or they don't have money, whether they're a celebrity or they're not a celebrity. Your neighbor can have the most amazing story if you take the chance to get to know them. Even in a gentrified community, in my past community, amazing people that I still am connected with today. And, you know, though they may not feel like they're amazing in their mind, trust and believe someone thinks you're amazing. Someone thinks you can provide so much more to the world. But that is when you become comfortable with who you are and whatever experiences you've had, whatever decisions you've made, whatever failures you've had, you know that it does not define you and who you are becoming. And I'm so glad that she named that book Becoming, because just in her title alone, she gives you everything that she has. And she's still becoming. She didn't name the book Became. She didn't name the book I Am. She named the book Becoming. So she still has a process that she's going through. She still has something she's building. And that is who she is. Because now her husband is not president. Her children are adult now. So now she can take the time with herself to see and reflect and really say, yeah, this is who I am. That's my take on Becoming. And I'm excited to see where this goes. The support that she's providing to many communities of women. And I hope a lot of men read the book too, because then that will help them in understanding what a woman may go through in life when he is trying to build and she is trying to be supportive. We all go through these same things that our officials, and they're just people. They're just people. And the more we grasp that, the better our world will become. Deuces. Hope you enjoyed chilling with MsFriezy. Like I tell you, always be ready for anything. I'm going to go ahead and get back to washing my parts and focus on cleaning up this house, feeling under the weather. So I didn't go to work today, and it's all good. But yeah, hope you can hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this. Let's help one another, people. Let's see and understand one another and see how we can connect. And this goes through all scopes of becoming. We all go through it. Later.